Hey everybody, welcome to the Mother Figures podcast. I'm Caitlin Darkangelo, founder and co-owner of Figure, Midwestern wife, and girl mom. I'm a dual certified pregnancy and postpartum trainer, majored in exercise science from the University of Michigan, earned my master in management degree from Duke University, and have been coaching in the fitness industry for over a decade. This podcast dives into all things pregnancy and postpartum fitness, especially in how to navigate strength and intensity training in these seasons. Whether you're in it yourself, trying to get pregnant, or coaching this population, you're in the right place. I'm excited to share personal experiences, client stories, guest interviews, and evidence-based strategies to give you the guidance, insights, and clarity needed to navigate these seasons with confidence. And with that, let's get rolling. Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Mother Figures podcast. Today's episode is going to be kind of prompted by a Instagram post that I shared this week. It was a carousel of this. I went for a run in Vienna. My 4-month-old was just like not having it, so we made it like 5 minutes in. She was screaming her head off. And I ended up holding her and then pushing Amelia, my 4-year-old, in the stroller back, and that was like, wobbling side to side, going everywhere on the sidewalk. And I was just like super flustered, super annoyed. I came back. I put Vienna to bed in her crib. And then I ended up going downstairs and just hopping on the bike for a few minutes. And then Vienna ended up waking up again. So I was just like in this mindset of like super flustered, super annoyed because I had planned my run specifically around her nap time and around her eating time. And it still didn't work. And so I kind of shared a little bit of my frustrations around just trying to stay consistent as a mom, but having, children and trying to work out and having that be part of your life, but it just being, a little disrupted by motherhood. And so and then kind of like ending that whole thing of like, hey, we're still doing it. Like we just work with what we got. Being a trainer in this space doesn't make it any easier on me. It's not always pretty. It's not always done with grace. Like it's not always like sunshine and rainbows trying to work out. Rarely is it really. And so a lot of people really related to that. So I wanted to create a whole podcast episode kind of around how to stay on top of working out as a mom with all of these new realities, because the reality is like, there is more to consider. There are more road bumps. There are more like roadblocks, I guess, more so to try to get to the gym, to try to finish a workout, to try to stay consistent. That is the reality of being a mom that likes to work out. We don't want to like use that as an excuse, but it is just the reality. There are a lot of things that are changed in our lifestyle that just make it tougher too. And so it does take a little bit more grit, a little bit more willpower to get into our workout or to finish a workout or to stay consistent and start working out again for the first time when it comes to, the newborn stages or the early years. So I wanted to create this podcast episode in the positive light now that I'm not so flustered and in the moment of when I was making that post, but like, what can we do to help ourselves stay consistent in the gym, to get our workouts in? What are things that have helped me or my clients that I've seen over the last few years to, get our most effective workouts in and all that stuff? Because yes, there's a lot to consider. There's a lot of lifestyle changes, but it's all about how we can work with our new lives now, because it's forever different having kids. Like we're never going to go back to our, college or pre-baby days when it's just like us that we're just taking care of ourselves. So we don't want to wallow in our excuses like, oh, I wish, it was the way it was. Like that's not going to do us any good, because it's not like that anymore. So how do we both acknowledge the hardness that is working out as a mom, and how do we also at the same time work through it and figure out ways to get ourselves back into our level of fitness that we're really proud of and feel really good with? And how do we do it with sometimes a little bit more grace and not get as frustrated along the way? So that's what I want to go over today. I have a few different bullet points. So I'm just going to kind of work through each one. The first one being the overarching message of the whole day is like, you have to do what works best for you and your own schedule. I'm going to give tips. These next 5, I think I have, are going to be things that I've seen that has worked in reality, in real life, but ultimately everything is going to come down to what works for you, what works for your family, how your own baby or toddler, how it works for their schedule as well. So that's the number one and starting point, biggest thing of like how to be more consistent in the gym and how to build a lifestyle around fitness throughout motherhood is it has to work for you. You can take tips from me, from anybody, from posts you see. But if it's not working for you, that is like the first way to just like shoot yourself in the foot is try to force something that works into your schedule that just isn't working. So take things like, try out all the different stuff. But ultimately has to be what works for you and your family. So that is number one. Number 2 is also kind of an overarching principle, and something that I figured out really early on with my first Amelia 4 years ago. And that is that scheduling based on time kind of no longer works, especially in the first year postpartum. What I mean by that is instead of saying, oh, I'm going to wake up at 7 and then I'm going to work out at 8. And then at 9 o'clock, I'm going to have breakfast. And then 10 o'clock, the baby is going to sleep. And then 11 o'clock, like doing it at a specific time. I tried to do that because I'm a very structured, rigid person. I love routine. I love structure. And so kind of going into my first postpartum experience, I'm like, oh, I'll just like create a schedule for myself and stick with it. Schedule is no longer based on time for me. It's based on windows of time around my baby. So, and that's going to be number 3 and number 4, kind of getting into the nitty gritty of that. But what I mean by that is instead of saying, oh, I'm going to work out at 8, I say, oh, I'm going to work out after my baby, goes to take her first nap in the morning. So it's based on her milestones or her daily schedule, not on a specific time. And that allows for a little bit more wiggle room, a little bit more adaptiveness. Instead of saying like, oh, I'm going to work out at 8, but what if at 8 o'clock she's like getting fussy about ready for bed? Or what if she's hungry at 8 o'clock? Then that automatically gets me kind of pissed because I'm like, oh, but at 8 o'clock I scheduled a workout, but now I can't do that workout because my baby is hungry and tired. So it kind of takes out that frustration point. And I just like going based on, oh, after she goes to bed or after she eats, it's a little bit more of a friendly time frame versus a rigid, strict time schedule. So that is something that has worked for me in a general concept. That's number 2. Number 3, going on that, is working out around nap time. So there's 2 different ways, and I find different phases of postpartum or motherhood kind of works differently for this. So what I've personally found is in the early ages or early phases, so like 0 to 4-ish months, I actually prefer to work out during my baby's awake time. And I do that because their naps are way more unpredictable in those first few months. Sometimes Vienna, my 4-month-old, will sleep for 2 hours, and that's awesome. Sometimes she'll sleep for like 15 minutes. And I just, in those first few months, like you just really don't have a schedule. They don't have a schedule yet. And so I just find that when I work out with them around me, and again, in these early few months postpartum too, a lot of it is body weight, a lot of it is like breath work or walking or just like less high gym intensity needed. And so it's just a little bit easier to work out with them by your side too. But I do find that having them awake, I can entertain them while I work out. Sometimes if they are getting fussy, I can hold them or like put them in a baby carrier and still do my workout very effectively. But a lot of times they are just more content, just like being on the ground or being around me versus trying to put them to bed and then like 10 minutes into my workout being interrupted, having to go upstairs, go fix them, do whatever they want, come back down. 5 minutes later, they cry again. That bothers me a little bit more than just having to like entertain them while I'm working out. Because again, the reality is you have a newborn, you have a baby there. So either you're going to get interrupted when they're waking up from their sleep, or you're probably going to be interrupted when they're with you. So it's just an easier interruption for me, or easier for me to just have them next to me while I do my 20-30 minute workout when it's the 0 to 4 months postpartum time frame. So during that time, earlier days, I like to actually work out with their wake windows, and then when they're sleeping, either like do housework or other things, or just rest. So that's one thing that I have found. Now, the second part of that is working out during nap times. So this is generally for like kids that can move or crawl or walk, when they have more predictable schedules, when you kind of know, oh, they're going to go to bed for 2 hours at this time and 1 hour for this time. It's like pretty, maybe it's still unpredictable at times, but in general, like these are their sleep schedules, or these are, when they're going to be in bed. Generally this age group also, like, they want more attention. They want you to like only focus on them during this time frame. They're not so like in the newborn days where they like just need, something to hit and they're content. Generally like the 6 month to like 18 month, I would say, time frame, they want you to like physically be playing with you, and so it's a lot harder to work out with them around. And so that's why I would prefer working out during their nap times then. So again, this is just kind of what I have found works for me in different phases of babyhood and toddlerhood. So working out with them in their awake times when they're in the younger days, and then working out during their nap times when they get a little bit older. And then just as a rule, just being adaptable, because maybe some days one works and some days the other works. But just generally thinking about working out around their nap time, and like that being more of the buoy that hits your workout versus like a strict time that you want to go. And that's, I think, one of the hardest part is, like, I know pre-babies for me, like I loved morning workouts. Like I would wake up at like, I don't know, 7 or 8. I would drink my pre-workout, have a little pre-workout snack, and have this whole routine around it, and then get into the gym exactly when I wanted to, when my body wanted to, when my fueling was lined and timed up with my workout. And then like that was ideal and super effective for me. Now it's kind of surrounded around other humans that I have to try to force myself to be ready for my workout at the time that that is best for my baby. And that's one of the most hard things as like someone who wants to have high performance and high achievements in the gym, is like forcing your body into a time frame that's like not the most ideal time. But that's just something, again, a mental shift that, especially in those first few years, because obviously like we're in the thick of it in these like 0 to 5 year old time frame. It's a short time in our life, but it also feels like forever, because it's, it is, working out is a part of our life. And when that gets, altered for a few years straight, that can feel really frustrating. But it's being adaptable during this time period to then keep you as effective and consistent as possible. And I'm sure one day when they're all in school, like you kind of have that time back, maybe. I don't know. We'll see when we get there. But it is frustrating. It's just a lot of like mental overcoming at that point as well. Similarly, so that was number 3, working out around their nap times, whether that be during their nap time or like during their awake times. Number 4 is working out around their feeding schedule. Now, this is for 2 reasons. One is like boob emptying. So if you are breastfeeding, it feels a lot better to work out without full heavy boobs. So feeding them helps your body be a little bit more prepared or more effective when you are in your workout. So that's number 1. It just feels better on your own body. But number 2, if you feed them and then go right into their workout, it's one less thing that the baby has to be fussy about. Potentially, maybe they'll get hungry again, but at least you know that like they are fully fed. And so that kind of helps them stay a little bit more calm, or maybe that's like their sign to go to bed. So then they kind of like fall asleep. So the 2, nap time and the feeding schedule, kind of go hand in hand. But just having one less thing for them to potentially get fussy about is a good way to logistically have a less interrupted workout, which is always kind of what we're going for here. Everything, a lot of this just comes down to logistics, honestly. Like the better logistics and timing around your workouts, the better outcome of your workout you'll get. And when you are getting more out of your workouts and happier and less interrupted, the more consistent you'll be because the less frustrated you are. So at the root of a lot of like the consistency and the motivation to work out is just like trying to align all of the logistics to make you more efficient, to make you happier and see more progress. And that kind of is a circle effect that kind of keeps feeding into each other. So that's why I'm kind of going into more of the logistics of like this, because it has the downstream effects of a better workout. It's more exciting for you to see progress and all that kind of stuff. So again, the reality is with feeding and with naps is like you're just going to have to adjust your workout timing to, in this case, like their feeding schedule. So whether that's early morning or afternoon or a time that you wouldn't want to work out yourself. Like I am not a workout at night person, but there's a few days where like that's the only time I got, and like that's when it works best for Vienna's schedule. We just have to adjust and see how it goes. And I think just knowing that like other moms have to do it too, and it's not just like you're not unique in that regard of like, oh, like I just don't have any time, like the only time would be at night. Like that's how all of us moms are too. And I think there's some peace in that, knowing that like we're all trying to figure it out. Even me, like I literally am a pregnancy postpartum trainer. I work with moms every single day. This is what I do, and I'm still in it with you guys trying to figure it out too. So there's just some peace that comes along with, you know, we're all trying to figure out around their feeding schedule, around their nap schedule, trying to make it work for us all at the same time. So number 5 ways to like logistically make things more effective, stay consistent, is following a plan. And I think you guys knew this one was coming in here, because when you follow a plan, you are more effective with your time. You are more efficient with your time at a time when we don't have as much time, and when we don't want to be just dinking around, dilly-dallying, hoping that like that exercise is going to both heal us and make us stronger and make us more connected with less symptoms, less pain, all that stuff. And that's exactly why I created my Figure Postpartum program. It's what I am currently following right now. I have followed it since day 4 postpartum, and it follows you all the way through the first year. And I like to say it's like from breath work to max lifts and intensity and barbells. This is my second iteration of the program. So I first created it during my postpartum experience with Amelia. Then I have trained in person every single day moms for the last 3 to 4 years after Amelia was born. So I guess 4 years now. She's almost 5. That's crazy. And then now I'm following it again after I've revamped it over the course of the last few years, seeing what works, what doesn't work, what's effective, what's not effective. I just take all the most important lifts, the most important structures, how to do the stuff. So all the breath work, all the core connection, the pelvic floor stuff, all of it is wrapped into a nice, tiny, pretty bow, or with a bow in my Figure Postpartum program. And I do that. Obviously, this is my business. This is what I sell to people. But the reason why I created this and why this is what I am most passionate about is because it takes so much of the guesswork, of the fear, of the unknowns of postpartum, and just hands it to you on a silver platter and allows it for you to do like at home at your own time, and just have that recovery and strengthening plan that takes all the issues out of it. So having something built exactly for postpartum too, just in general, not just like DIYing it or just hopping back into your normal workout program, it helps you see progress quicker, with less confusion, with less unknowns, fear, with no second guessing. And that alone is going to help you stay consistent for longer, because there's less setbacks, there's more progress, it's more doable. So there's a lot of factors within my Figure Postpartum program, the app program, that are postpartum specific, but like wouldn't be programmed into like a normal workout program. So think of like, so for instance, in the first 12 weeks of the program, I have the workouts chopped into 4 different sections. And so you can do all 4 of those things at one time, or you can do them throughout the course of the day, because I know that sometimes you just can't fit a full 30-minute workout in together. So having pieces of that workout in 5 to 10-minute segments that you can do throughout the day is one way that I make it like it's a doable thing. It's not just like what the workout is or what the movements are, what the exercises are. It's also like what can help the mom stay consistent and effective with that program and actually stick to it. So there's a lot of those kind of things thought out in the program that helps moms actually stay with it long term. And that just helps them because then they aren't, frustrated that they're just, I guess this comes back to also what most moms are still told is that at 6 weeks, when you're cleared, you can just hop right back into exercise. And that alone leads to a ton of frustration because they're going back into what they know and what their body thinks that they know, but their body is completely different. It's not ready for that exercise yet. And then it feels annoying that their body is different and they don't know how to fix that. And they find themselves having symptoms and pains and issues. And then they have to revert. And all that process can be just like cut out if you just start with Figure Postpartum from the beginning and have a more tailored, progressive kind of overload to your programming and to your workouts. And it just takes out so much issue. So number 5 is follow a plan, Figure Postpartum. I highly recommend. I'll drop the link in my show notes. Obviously message me with questions about that for your specific scenario as well. But that can make so much of a difference, not only just with your time in the gym, but just like figuring out how to have your smoothest, most progressive return back to your fitness level. So number 6 is a piggyback off of that. So once you have a plan, also be adaptable within that plan. Like for instance, if you have goblet squats in your workout or barbell squats, maybe even, and your baby starts fussing, do the squats with your baby instead. If you went on, like in my instance, if you went on an outdoor run and they were just not having it, swap to an indoor bike or grab a baby carrier and strap your baby on your chest and go for a weighted walk. Adapting the actual workout, but with the same stimulus, you can do that not easily, but it's doable. To have your baby become your piece of equipment. And it also helps them be more, that helps them be happier because they're attached to you, which is what they always want to do. And so just thinking of those kind of swaps that if your plan does kind of get thrown off from whatever your baby's doing, obviously you can get stressed about it for a second and then remember, okay, like what's the next best thing? And just trying to, even though it's not exactly what was programmed, having to be adaptable within that plan is going to save so much stress, so much frustration, and just help you stay consistent because you're still doing something that's going to get you further than if you just like call it quits altogether. Again, being adaptable within that plan also kind of comes down to you don't have to do it all at one time, kind of how I was describing in my Figure Postpartum program, how the earlier days are broken up into 3 to 4 different sections: breath work, walk, workout, stretch, that kind of stuff. Same thing for any workout though. Like maybe you do like a 10-minute walking or running session at one time, baby cries, figure it out. And then later in the day, you do like a strength session, just like thinking about or knowing that you have the ability to just break things up throughout the day. That can be helpful too. Just knowing that like, even if you don't finish it all at one time, that's okay. Be adaptable within the plan. It is frustrating. It's more easily said than done. But just knowing that like, okay, like what's the next second best thing to what the actual plan is. And the number 7, last one, is being around other moms in the same situation, hands down, is like the best way to stay with, working out. And that's what I see every day I have a women's class at 9:00 at my gym every single morning. And then I also run a postpartum specific class a few times a year. And that is one of the biggest pieces of feedback that I get is like, oh, just being around other moms who are in the same phase of life, that is what motivates me and shows me that it is possible. And I see other moms doing it. I see other moms struggling with it as well. So I know I'm not alone in this. And they also get to like feed off of each other. Like see and hear what works for other moms, and they're like, oh, like I'll try that at home too. So they get like these ideas around how to make things easier. And then again, just like having everybody in the same boat and knowing that you see and know somebody that knows exactly how you feel, and then also being motivated by others' consistencies. So like if you see a mom, coming every day or coming, a few times a week, and you're coming like once every few weeks, you're like, oh, like she's figuring it out, so I can figure it out too. And there's something really motivating and powerful around just being around a community of moms. Just physically seeing that in real life or happening in real life just shows you that it's possible. So community is everything, especially in the trenches of motherhood. And if you don't live in Brighton and can come to my classes, or if you're not around an area that has like a more mom specific workout class or whatever, I also see a lot of great things happening online too. I give so much of my consistency and my motivation from like simply seeing you guys and other moms on Instagram, and like having to show up for myself. Like having that online accountability is also huge. We run a lot of app challenges in our Figure app, so a lot of that I've done like mom specific ones in the past, and just seeing other moms doing it, and like there's so much power in seeing other moms do what you want to be doing to help give you that little nudge to do that thing. So accountability from other moms, having people and following people when it comes to online, like follow other accounts that like are in the same phase of life that you are, and that can help just give you that like glimpse of hope of like, oh, like okay, let me try to do what she did one day, and maybe that will like snowball the effect of me like being consistent in the gym going, forward or long term. So just being motivated by others, seeing others doing what you are wanting to do, even if it's hard, like that can help bridge that gap between like inactivity and like getting going on the right path when it comes to working out. So hopefully those all help. So just to recap again, one is doing what works for your schedule. That is the gold star here. Two, in general, schedule is not based on time. It's kind of more based on these time windows, which are number 3 and number 4, which is working out around their nap times and working out around their feeding schedule, again, either during or after. Number 5 is following a plan. Extra kudos for a postpartum specific plan, and extra kudos for your postpartum in general. Number 6 is being adaptable within that plan, knowing that plan might not stand for that day, being adaptable within each day, within each workout. And then number 7, being around a community of moms, just helping everybody see the potential that each of us has, even though we are in a tough phase of life when it comes to staying consistent, because motherhood is full of randoms and crazies and just crazy schedules and all the things. And so it's tough, and it's the reality, and it's also doable. And so I want that to be kind of the overarching thing is like, yes, there are challenges, there are setbacks, there are roadblocks, but that does not mean that we can't, or that we are not supposed to be working out during this time frame. It is one of the single most powerful things that we can be doing this during this time to help our sanity, to help our patience, our physical bodies, obviously, to our mental and emotional capacities. And I just truly believe, because I see this every day too, like how much our workout can affect our mood, which can affect our parenting, and ultimately affects how we parent and raise our family and our children. And so that is something that is a long downstream effect that is so powerful beyond the immediate effects of exercise. So hopefully all that helps. Try to take it into your own context, and hopefully that can help you stay more consistent in the gym as a mom. So with that, I will see you guys in the next episode. Thanks for tuning in to the Mother Figures podcast. If these episodes help or resonate with you in any way, it would be so helpful to the show if you could leave a review so we can get this into more moms' hands. And if you're looking for even more guidance and direction when it comes to pregnancy and postpartum fitness, I got you covered. My Mother Figures app subscription includes my Figure Pregnancy and Figure Postpartum workout programs, in addition to our general fitness programs. You'll get the day-by-day workouts you need to help you feel strong, pain-free, and labor-ready during pregnancy, and also the recovery, strength, and progressions you'll need to get back to the activities you love, full of strength and without symptoms after baby arrives. If you're local to the Brighton, Michigan area, I also host daily women's functional fitness classes, a 6-week postpartum return to fitness course, and pregnancy and postpartum consultation sessions. For those who are providers, coaches, or practitioners in the space, I hold a live Mother Figures certification course that equips you with the knowledge, tools, and confidence to train and work with this population. For information on all of these services and programs, make sure to check out fitisgettingreal.com/moms or head to the show notes for the direct link. I'm so thankful that you tuned in today's episode, and I will catch you next time.